Hello everybody and welcome back to the Rodea the Sky Soldier playthrough. It's time for Chapter 9, A Heart-to-Heart Promise. Because we're nearing the Kronos Tower and we need to destroy that thing, so let's just head there right now.
What's wrong? Nothing. Did the explosion damage something?
Ioni's probably just a little bit miffed off with you, you know? To be honest, what Ion's saying about there with the whole doing things wrong when you're rushing, that basically holds true of every person in every single thing. Because you start rushing, then you start taking risks, taking shortcuts, and it's all really, really bad practice. I mean, I certainly need to stop rushing and flapping when it comes to my driving lessons and just driving in general. Because it's like, I mean, it's a really bad thing, because what happens is that I mentally start rushing when people are expecting me to do stuff. So like if I'm completing a maneuver or whatever, that's when I start to rush things. And really, you don't need to rush things, just go at a nice, peaceful, but not ridiculously so pace, and you can pretty much do anything you like. Also, this particular section is incredibly fraught, because obviously you've got the death force field there, which I really ridiculously got hit by, but at least I was able to recover from it, eh? Otherwise that would have been a pretty horrendous take. And I most definitely would have been redoing this chapter. Because my goal for this game was don't die. Unfortunately, I didn't quite manage to entirely hold on to that goal, but you aren't going to be seeing any deaths in the course of the playthrough, so there is that, I suppose. Now, if I recall correctly, there's nothing really particularly unique about this level. It's just kind of your pretty standard get to the end of the level. Obviously you've got different elements of, you know what I mean. You've got different little set pieces, but nothing particularly unique. And then at the end of this part we're going to see the boss of the chapter! Oh yes! And also miraculously I didn't lose health at all, somehow. I really have no idea how I didn't lose health when I got hit by the force field there, but you know what, I will take it, because otherwise I think I'd be rather sad. Oh joy. Now we are truly introduced to horrendous wind. This stuff will kill you if you are not careful. Basically, you've got to kind of keep flying. If you are kind of trying to cling on desperately to the ground, and you get beaten out of that, be warned, you are going to suffer so much. Because when you get flung off by that wind, you are going to be put into a position where you can't actually fly. So you can't save yourself, essentially. And when you end up in situations like that, it's just very, very dangerous. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to not suffer from the wind, just by making sure that you're constantly in the air, and when you are kind of trying to get to places, use your boost attack. This does only really work in the Wii version, because you've got kind of the constant ability to fly. But if you're boosting, then you will always beat the wind. And if you can beat the wind, then that is just so much better for you. And oh look, we've got more of the evil sandworms. Thankfully these guys aren't too bad because you can get to reasonable locations and just kind of sort of pot-shot them. It is possible to get really, really badly screwed over because if they kind of start flying everywhere and you aren't nearby to be able to get the master in the ground, it's just not pretty. I mean, like that. And now I'm just in a really, really dangerous position. And I'm just like, I need something. Health power up, please, quickly. So, I mean, while this particular section isn't as horrendous as it possibly could be, it is somewhat fraught. Because these guys are deadly. And this particular area is going to be proof of that for you if you were not just making sure that you are keeping an eye on things, shall we say. And I've just realised I sort of just made a pun. And an eye on things. Wow. That's an impressive dad joke pun. Oh dear. But yeah, there isn't really a whole lot to this level. We're basically already done. This is like our last challenge. It feels weird, but I think that just considering we had the boss in the last chapter with Orthos, was it? No. We had Orthos a few chapters ago now. Good grief. Time's flown. But like, we've had kind of the big moments happen, so really all we're doing is just moseying on over to the Kronos Tower. So I suppose they couldn't really use up any particularly unique ideas, because, I mean, what's the point? This is basically just a filler chapter. We are going to have a bit of kind of plot happening just before we go to the Kronos Tower, but still.
Okay, I'll get going now.
Wait, Rodea. Make sure you come back, okay?
Is that an order?
It's a promise. Promise me you'll come back, safe and sound.
Sure. It's a promise.
Aww. How sweet. And then it's completely ruined by the fact of Rodea going, eh? Okay. It's a little bit depressing when you get the results like that. It's just like, come on, C, B are reasonable grades. They're not horrendous. It's not like a D or an E. I know it's not like an A or an S, but still. Either way, here we have our Chapter 10 boss, Belhemous, the mighty sand dragon. And if you didn't get the Shadows of the Colossus comparison before, you should almost certainly get it now, because this guy is remarkably similar to another one of the Colossi. I don't know the name of the damn thing, but it's the one where you are in the desert and you've got to kind of shoot at its wing, well, its sacks that are beneath it, so that you can kind of get on top of it, and then once you're on top of it, you're kind of running down its length and stabbing it bits. That's essentially what you're doing here, but obviously you're constantly flying in the air. Now, I think if you're on any of the other versions of the game, this guy could be really, really difficult. Because I think just the level of challenge, and because of the whole upgrade system that you have in Rodea 3DS and Wii U, if you're not kind of high enough level, I suppose, essentially, it's not going to end well, I wouldn't have thought anyway. But as it stands, Wii version is pretty simple, to be honest. Just stay in the air, make sure you know, ram into that, seeing as that is a target. And yeah, just roll on with it. I have to say, my favourite boss in the game is yet to come, but don't worry, I will be praising that thing to high heaven when we get to him. But Belhemous is defeated. As I said, not too much of a problem, quite a cool fight, but it is very, very clear that there is an influence from Shadow of the Colossus here, because we've had two bosses which are remarkably similar in design, but either way, that's the second Kronos Tower dealt with. Hell yes!
Ooh, you haven't changed at all, R0, and that's what makes you weak.
And you've got a weird voice. Either way, you've got an A rank. Let's move on to kind of World 3.